George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation. We're so pleased to be joined by Vincent E. Cobb the second. He's the
Good.
CEO of the Summer House Institute, something new for the Cuse, and they've got a grand mission having to do with education. We'll tell you all about it. Also joining us is Saundra Reed. She is the community liaison for the Summer House Institute, but we also know that she is the first lady of the Greater Evangelical Church of God in Christ. So we want to have to, we just got to do that. We just can't let
That's okay.
Mr. Reed sit up in here and not give her honorifics.
That's right.
we
Thank
just
you.
we just can't let that happen. But
Aw.
and we should also say Vince is a son of evangelical, so that it's a full circle moment. So Vincent, tell me about this idea. When I received the invitation for the event and open house that you had yesterday, I was really, really intrigued by it and what it was going to be, and the mission of it, which has to do with your desire to see more teachers, specifically, as Saundra Reed was telling me, more Black male teachers. Talk to me.
Absolutely. I mean, this mission, Grand Mission, really came out of my experience in the Syracuse City School District. Nationally, black men make up 2% of the teacher workforce. I was fortunate enough to have one black male teacher in my seventh grade year, Mr. Brian Freeland. Shout out to him. He was a big staple in our community. And knowing that, I had a great example set at home through my parents and, through church and then through the community. But there's something about being able to see a teacher every day that looks like you. The saying goes, you can't be what you can't see. So he was just that little more motivation for me and my peers. And so when I moved to Philadelphia almost 10 years ago, I noticed that in the teacher corps, there was a lot of lack of teacher diversity. And so I want to do something about it. So I decided, along with my colleague, we quit our jobs the same day as
Quit
educators.
your jobs.
Yes, we did. We quit our
Okay,
jobs.
now.
And we embarked on starting a nonprofit, which is the Summer House Institute, and is committed to developing, growing, and inspiring the next generation of Black male educators to be in school. And so it's that teacher pipeline right into classrooms so that students can see more diverse teachers, specifically Black men, standing in front of them in the classroom.
You're very specific about this. This is about you want to get more Black men in the classroom, and I love the idea of that. And so what made you decide that you could quit your job and create this institute to help create this pipeline for Black male teachers, not only obviously in the Cuse, because it's going to start here, this is going to be one of the places that it's going to be developing, but obviously this is a nationwide thing that you want to do. What made you think
Yeah.
you could do that?
Well, I come from a family and a legacy and a foundation of folks who have always been given to the community. I mean, my parents, my dad at Syracuse University, my mom in the community where young kids used to run a daycare, my home church where my godparents are pastor and first lady. And so I come from that legacy of activism. And, when you see a problem, being able to fix it. So I really just had the faith. I had $40,000 in a dream and my roommate, and we were going to try to make this work to the best of our ability. And about 5 years later, we've raised over $5 million and supported a cause to see more Black men in schools. And so I encourage anybody out there that if you just have an inkling of something, a problem you want to solve, sometimes it's best to take the risk on yourself and bet that you can make it happen.
All right, so exactly how's it going to work? Because obviously recruiting Black men to be teachers is obviously a challenge, because, and there's a lot of factors why Black men may not go into education. Okay. Although, I'm seeing a lot more. I just had an interview a few months ago, well, last year actually, with a couple of Black male educators, math educators at that. So
Mhm.
what's your company going to do?
Yeah, so we have a Black Male Undergraduate Summer Fellowship Program. And what it is a 4 week intensive program that's an introduction to education. What is the day to day work looks like in schools? Who are the key players in education? What are the issues that school communities are challenged with that Black men have a unique position and stamp on to meet with solutions? And so we try to say that again, you can't be what you can't see. And so what we try to even do with these guys, people say, well, a lot of Black men don't want to go into education. We found that the research is showing that they are more willing to go in education. It was just they were never tapped on the shoulder until Teach for America, third year, third year in school, saying, "Hey, do you want to become a teacher?" often with Black boys and young men, the systems in which we come from, especially schools, we have higher suspension rates. We are treated more disproportionately than our white counterparts, and so it's hard to convince a young man to go back to a place where they felt like they never fit in the first place. But Summer House Institute is different in that regard, and we let Black men know that there is a space for you specifically. There's a lot of misnomers around it. It doesn't make a lot of money. You are sometimes posed in the most challenging conditions within schools. But with the help of our community and support of Summer House, we hope to reverse some of those stereotypes and know that it can be a lucrative career.
You're right about that. And where we tend to show up is not in the classroom directly, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in other spaces within the building. Saundra Reed is the community liaison. So I guess I know there was a big meeting yesterday. You invited community leaders. What was your goal for having that meeting of community leaders? And and you also, I understand, was very, very much a part of the consultation for this. So talk to me.
Well, I very much believe in what he's trying to do. I watched him as he successfully matriculated through school here in Syracuse City School District, as well as Syracuse University, his focus. And so it's more to me than just somebody saying, I want to do this, but it's been proven where he is. I attended a function, I don't know how many years ago, in Philadelphia that he sponsored. Huge, huge, over 500 youth, young Black men from all parts of the United States attended. And other schools, other districts being very much interested in what he's
Mhm.
doing. So I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't want him to take that so far out and we miss the opportunity of
Mhm.
gaining from. And he's been a wonderful example throughout the years. Of course, while he was here and even since he's been away, his name still carries throughout Syracuse as I have gone church to church, building to building. You remember Vincent? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We still connect. And so, that's exciting to me. I want people to know this program is something that just adds to what Syracuse is all about. It is nothing to come in to take over, to say that we're not doing a good enough job. This will really be something that will cause us to be able to together catapult these young men into a career that they will understand will not only bless them lucratively, as he spoke of, but also allow them to be a tremendous blessing to many others that are coming behind. So that's my reason for joining in.
Sandra, when I saw this, I was all in, like 100%. I was like, this is great. This is a great opportunity for our community, as you articulated. I mean, this is something. So, how does it kick off here? Like, how do we get the folk? What's going to be needed to have the first institute in Syracuse, New York? What's it
Yeah,
going to take?
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of local investment. I think that's why we brought community together. I think before you roll out programs, you got to understand the strengths and the supports you can provide the community, and you got to hear directly from the community, which is why we created the open forum yesterday for everyone to come together to hear about what Summer House plans to do. I think if we get, we have Mayor Ben Walsh, even the Chancellor at Syracuse University, Dr. Jaime Alicea, who we know is making a transition soon as superintendent. But we wanted to make sure that these key players were involved to say teacher diversity is important. But also, there are a swath of students in the aftermath of COVID who are now feeling less motivated because classrooms are overrun, teaching staff is low. They don't feel that they got the support needed for them to be prepared to go to the next level with college. And so we hope that Summer House can be just a little bit of encouragement to those students that are coming up as well. We recently did a tour throughout Nottingham, Henniger, and Corcoran. And one of the continual things we heard is that they just don't feel motivated. They don't feel like they have a community. They're doing well with their grades. They're doing extracurricular activities, but they're saying, for what? This seems so discouraging. And so we need programs like ours and others in the nonprofit space to create opportunities like this so that they can continue to be engaged, so they can see the potential for their futures.
It's interesting that you say that they're not motivated and not engaged. And this, Sister Reed, Sandra Reed, I'm,
That's all
church.
right. It doesn't matter. My home knows me as both.
Right, right, right. when you think about programs, everyone's doing a program. So what do you think is going on with these young folks? And then I'm going to go back to you, Vince, as well after Saundra speaks. What do you think was the difference for you? Because you're navigating these same streets. So I need to understand how to. And I know you had strong family, strong church. So maybe that's two things you had. But you also are in that environment where you are next to somebody that's not motivated. So, but Sister Reed, what do you think?
Well, I'm with Vincent 100% in recognizing where these students are and how they're thinking, how they're looking at things today.
Mm-hmm.
Because since COVID, we find that lack of motivation is not about laziness. It's not about even sometimes confusion. It literally is, what am I doing all this for? What would be my reason for trying to get in here? What is school going to even look like? Over the next few years. Things are changing rapidly, consistently. And so I think that this program will bring to them a fresh look at possibilities
Mm-hmm.
and what those possibilities can mean for their future. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's a different way of thinking about it now. Yes, I need a job. Yes, I want a good job. I want a great future. But again, putting in that piece about being able to be a blessing. And I'm sorry, I don't know another way of putting that, actually building up other people. There are people coming behind them, their
Serving,
brothers, their
right?
sisters, their
Serving.
cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so them even getting that in their heads about how this can allow them an opportunity to really be able to help somebody else come along the same path that they're treading and be successful. Vincent is a young man who has gone off and has been successful, is successful. He's coming back and he's saying, I can help you get to this place. And it's, again, the emphasis is not on things and money. The emphasis is on you and your future and
Mm-hmm.
how good that can look if you consider a program such as this.
I know Vince, I asked you to tell me what the difference was for you, but now I have a different question, and I'm still going to ask that question, but a different question has now surfaced for me. So, what exactly will happen at Summer House Institute? How do you get the young men to join? How do they apply? Is there a cost? All of that's what I want to know. And then when do you expect to launch in the queues? Because that's the next thing. After I heard Saundra Reed talk, I said, well, now I got to ask all these other things because let's make it plain for people as they're listening to this. What is your goal for launching? Is it this summer? It's the Summer House Institute. Are we talking July 1st? What are we talking about?
Yeah, so ideally we want to see the actual Summer House Institute roll out next year in the
Okay.
summer of 2023. This year is all about getting the investment of the community, getting the investment of students, for everyone to be comfortable and learn strongly about what the program is. I was always taught, before you go anywhere, just don't bulldoze your way in and say, this is what we got. You take the time to make sure that everyone is kind of have opportunities to get that brick to build upon the success of it. So our 4-week Summer Institute program will happen next year, next summer. And this year we'll just be talking to students and community members about what Summer House Institute is, how to get involved, how to sign up, which we have an open application process every year. We'll be doing a student conference in the fall just
Mm-hmm.
to get students together, to get excited about the mission of Summer House. We're hoping to throw that in September, and then throughout the year work with Saundra Reed and the community around the follow up from yesterday's meeting.
So, um, the students will be undergraduates at the time. So they will have already been enrolled in college. So this is like a 4 week. So how do you compete with summer jobs and the need to make money so that kids can go back to school? How do you compete with that?
Yeah, so we have a competitive stipend that we actually
Aha, talk to
add.
me. Yes.
Typically, our goal is to get $10,000 per summer. Since the pandemic happened, we kind of cut that in half to about $5,000 per fellow that they get for the summer. But we feel like that's competitive, probably with a summer job.
Certainly is. Yeah, certainly is.
And
Yeah.
can
And and how many students do you expect to have per institute?
25 is our
25
goal.
students. And where will it be? Will it be at Evangelical? Where will it be?
Yeah, we like the house on campus. So
Uh,
the residential experience is important to us. Also, it gives everyone an opportunity to build community with others who are like-minded about their impact in education.
mm,
So we will do something like, this group stays in a dorm together. They go to workshop and classes on campus. They
mm.
listen to speakers. They even go to summer school to co-teach or to assistant teach in the different school buildings that have summer school during the summer. So they have that experience.
And so that's part of this ground, laying the ground, Saundra, because you have to have these institutions here because
Yes.
we got how many colleges around here? So and they all have dorms, so it's all
Yes.
scheduling and
Right.
part of that, and so cooperative agreements and things of that nature.
Yes.
How
Yes.
all of these things, I see you, right. That's the stuff you got to work out. And is it up and running anywhere now?
Yes, we actually been open in Houston for the past 2 years. We actually had a class in Philadelphia that we're very proud of. We'll be going to Atlanta and Charlotte this next coming school year as well. And then in 2024, LA will be our last stop. So we'll have these kind of chapters all over the different.
What
different
what have you learned? Because it's always the first one was in Philly. So what did you learn from Philly that Houston will not have to worry about?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the time difference. We asked you guys to be on virtual. We because of COVID, we had to go virtual.
Okay.
Kind of building the college partnerships in the region have been a really success point for us, as well as the local funders. So a lot of this, we say we got to get the investment of the city. We try to raise $900,000 per city that we know that will put our operations at and for 3 years, a full staff and $20,000 per fellow, which will support them throughout. So,
the 4 years, right? Because you want freshmen and you want them to have an experience. Yeah, I see you.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I'm immediately thinking of Say Yes as some
yeah, it's like
part
the
of that.
upper bound model,
Right, upper bound, right. I'm thinking
Yeah.
all of these, right, because there are models already here, and upper bound supports them up to, so then, and of course on point. So there's all of these different tentacles, right? That will, and that's Sister Reed, that's what you're about, right? This is your job, is to talk to me about what you need from the community. Launched the meeting yesterday. What do you need from the community going forward? What are you hoping to sew up here?
Well, I'm hoping that we'll be able to follow up with these that were in attendance and actually create a roundtable to address the things that Vincent has already said, whether he's present or not, to form some action plans, action teams that can actually keep us moving forward so that when 2023 does roll around, we're able to roll out a successful program. So it really is about keeping in connecting with these people. I spoke with Sam Rouser just the other day,
On
on
point.
point. When you talk
Yeah.
about on point, I've been trying to get to those people as
Yeah.
well as others that are working with the youth.
I'd love to see, I know you've talked with the 100 Black Men as well, and they have a charter school that they're trying to put together. So I'd like to see some sort of feeder, right? So there's all these things that are going on. Now, let me get back to the question I was asking earlier, Vince, about how you avoided some of the things that the young men saying that they don't know what their purpose is. You knew. How did you avoid some of the things I'm sure people that were not able to avoid?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, I just has always been in a very open environment of being surrounded by a village of people who encouraged me to step out on my talents. They didn't tell me to or discourage us in any way to feel like we couldn't express ourselves, understand community issues, see where our talent kind of took us. We never was pigeonholed into doing one thing or the other, but I remember going to youth meetings, youth conferences, church conferences, and they would have open forums where they hear from young people about what's happening in their community. So I think more I started to use my voice and recognize issues and know that I can, have a part in solving them. I mean, it's just been kind of my commitment all the way through. So to the point where you quit your job in the middle of the school year to start a nonprofit organization. So yeah.
I just want, and I know you're about this, Saundra, but just to have this vision as a Black male in, and to bring it back to your hometown and try to have this impact. I know that you're going to have an impact, and I'm really, I just want people to get how significant this is. Tell us how significant this is, Saundra V.
This is very significant. I was speaking with, I'm throwing out some names, but I was speaking with Bishop Alex just yesterday, and he was just so, I don't know what the word is, but it really, really touched him in the
Mm-hmm.
way that you just spoke of. He says,
Yes.
I'm going to reach out to this young man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk to him personally, see what it is he needs. And I appreciate that. That's the kind of response that I'm hoping to get and have been getting as
Mm-hmm.
I've been making contact with the individuals. This will be very impactful for the city of Syracuse. Imagine if we can turn these 25 minds to thinking about, I do want to do this. I want to pursue this. I want to even continue my education through Syracuse University. I want to be able to turn around and come back into Syracuse City School District and stand before those that are coming behind me. Again, relatives, neighbors, people that I'm concerned about. And I have become even more concerned about I'm sorry, even more concerned about as a result of going through this program. So this will do wonderful things. Again, it will add to the many wonderful things that are happening in our great city. It will enhance what we already have.
We've got it. And what I think about leadership, we are the ones that we have been waiting for. I am the one that I've been
Come on,
waiting for,
George.
right?
Right,
You see,
right.
and you said this, Vince, you said, I I'm solving a problem that I saw, and I believe so much in it that I'm quitting my job in the middle of the school year
Right.
to do this work. And you know, I just can't say enough about what that means for our community, right? Because you don't, this is not something you had to do, right?
Right.
This is
Right.
something you're led to do. How
Yeah.
about that?
Absolutely.
Okay. I see
Absolutely.
where that's right.
Yeah, I will tell you one thing too about Sandra Reed. She's definitely been really been advocate for looking at what's in your own backyard. You say we have a
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
lot of young people coming to the city
Right.
and they leave, and she's like, "Why do they have to leave? There's so much around here that they can be focused on." And we had a town hall meeting, and a lot of the attendees were saying that students just don't know what's available in their own backyards. And so, for anything, it gives them the exposure to say Syracuse is one of the top schools in the nation. They have a great media communication school. They have a great policy school. Here are things you could be doing, places you can work within the city. And if we don't start building those pipelines, we'll kind of see less and less young people come back. And
Exactly.
so I think through a program like Summer House, it gives them that Syracuse University experience as well, where they can see like what other possibilities there are here.
I'm
Yeah.
just so, yeah, and you talked about like, and so there's instructors, there'll be other people I'm sure you'll ask to come and do
Yep.
some programming over there.
Mhm.
And I know I sound like a cheerleader, but I am.
Thank
Yeah.
I'm
you.
all about
Yes.
this effort. I think this is a significant effort. This is what inspiration for the nation is, celebrating people we feel good about, the positive achievements of people like you and
Mhm.
Sister Reed from all walks of life. And the more we see it, the more it's reflected, just like you said, the more we see young Vince Cobbs who come up through the Syracuse City School District, who is a son of one of our faith institutions in the community. The more we see it, the more people will be encouraged to say, I can do that too. So
Mhm.
if you missed the meeting yesterday, how do people get a hold of the Summer House Institute?
Well, we're going to have information out, I'm sorry, information was provided on yesterday, but you certainly can contact me. I don't mind providing my number, my email address, all of those things, and I can get material to you. And you can know where we're going from there. But you'll see me
Mhm.
moving around throughout the community to kind of help us with the aftermath. Now,
Mhm.
We've done this. We've had this time. We've heard from Vincent himself. Now, what are we going to do? How are we going to look at moving forward? So I will avail myself to make sure that the word continues to move forward.
All right. So do you want to provide that email now for us and
I
phone
can.
number?
It's a little lengthy. Maybe
Okay.
can I put it in the chat? Does that work?
Well, they won't see it. So here's what we'll do.
Okay.
Is it the SLR? Is that the one we're going to
It
use?
is. Yeah.
SLR Ministries. Spell ministries right. And it's at twcny.rr.com. That's how you do that. SLR Ministries, MINISTRIES at twcny.rr.com. You go to our website, you go to our YouTube page, we'll have that link for you right there for the to get a contact with Saundra Reed. And what about a phone number?
315-263-2348. 315-263-2348.
And one more time.
315-263-2348.
And thank you, Saundra Reed. Thank you, Vincent Cobb II, for this vision. And it's the Summer House Institute coming to Syracuse, New York. Let's just affirm it. It's going to work. July 2023. It's going to happen. And the kickoff meeting was yesterday, but the work now begins. Let's see this effort be fulfilled. It's going to be great. And this is, and we'll be the smallest community, because you heard he's talking about Atlanta, Houston, and LA, and Philadelphia. So come on hometown. Come on hometown. You know, look,
let's do it.
Syracuse is in Atlanta anyway, but come on hometown. Let's bring something back to our community, and let's support this young brother in the work, and Sister Reed and the work that you're all doing. Thank you for the inspiration for this community. I know that the best is yet to come.
Thank you, George, for being such a wonderful vehicle for us to use, even in promoting this, but also all of our community efforts. You're always in place, and we greatly appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Inspiration for the nation.